Hello everybody, my name is Jonathan, aka the Italian Foodie, and this is my channel. Welcome! Today we are gonna make a traditional Italian lasagna from scratch. Yes, everything from scratch, from the pasta to the ragu and the bechamel. Everything. So if you like Italian food, you should subscribe to my channel and like this video. Come on, let's share the love for pasta. So to make the fresh pasta, we start off 300 grams of flour with a pinch of salt. As I always say, to make pasta, always use grams because it's much more precise as a measurement than cups, okay? So since I'm using 300 grams of flour, we are gonna use 3 eggs because the ratio is 1 egg per 100 grams of flour. Okay, guys? I'm gonna just make a volcano with my flour. There we go. And then we're gonna go in with 3 large eggs. 1, 2, oops, make a bit of a mess, of course, otherwise it means that you haven't cooked. And now we start mixing in the eggs like this. In the meanwhile, while we mix the eggs, why don't you let me know in the comments what's your Italian favorite dish so I can recreate it for you. When the eggs are well mixed, we start adding the flour little by little, still mixing with a fork. You can also use your hands anyway, because we are gonna end up using our hands. So you can start and finish with your hands if you want, okay? Slowly adding the flour like this. And keep mixing, because the important thing at this point is that the flour and the eggs are well mixed together, okay? Then when it becomes impossible to use the fork, sleeves up, there we go, and we go in with our hands and we start kneading and keep mixing it. So this stage is very important because we need to knead it and mix it carefully, because otherwise we are gonna end with a pasta sheet where in some parts there are not enough eggs because they are not well mixed with the flour, which is gonna make your pasta sheet break, okay? So be very careful and work it very well at this stage. Help yourself with a bench scraper so you can remove all the eggs that it's stuck on the bench, and keep kneading it. I don't remember if I said it already, but you should use room temperature eggs because it's gonna be much easier for you to knead them. The dough is gonna be softer since the beginning if you use room temperature eggs. Okay, guys? Keep using your bench scraper when you need it, because we want our bench super clean, okay? Always keep your 00 flour next to you because you might need it, because the dosage of flour and eggs not always is perfect, since you never know how big your eggs really are. Even if they're large eggs, they have different weights anyway. So keep next to you some flour and a bit of water, because sometimes it can be too dry or too wet, okay? And when it comes together, knead it for a good 10 minutes, because you need to mix eggs and flour very well together, and you're gonna see and feel the dough changing after 6-7 minutes. It's gonna become smoother and easier to work. So around 10 minutes is the right amount of kneading you have to do. It's a little workout, guys, I'm not gonna lie, but if you make pasta, you don't have to go to the gym, because you make the pasta, you burn the calories of the pasta that you're gonna eat before eating it, guys. So it's the perfect workout, and it's so cheap. Eggs and flour. You can't find a gym cheaper than this, I bet. It's already changing, it's much smoother, but we are not quite there yet. But anyway, look, it's already different. Keep kneading, keep working out. Little espresso break. And back to knead I go. We are almost there. Clean film. I will let it rest covered for at least 30 minutes. The gluten needs to relax, but we cannot relax. We need to clean all this mess, guys. While our pasta dough is resting, we can start prepping the ragu, and we start from the soffritto. We will need a golden onion, medium, 1 medium carrot, and 2 celery stalks. Let's clean them. Okay, we just need to remove the ends from the celery and we chop them like this. We are gonna use a food processor, so don't worry too much about it. Then the carrots, the ends, and then we peel it. Even this, you don't need to do a perfect job. If there is still a bit of peel, doesn't matter. Chop it and set it aside. There we go. And then we clean the onion, just removing the ends like this. Usually I always remove also the first layer, but this looks pretty clean though. And then just divide it in a bit smaller pieces like this, and we are ready. Now I'm gonna transfer everything in my food processor. You can chop it by hand if you want, but honestly, I can't be bothered. It should look like this. I make mine very fine, so you cannot even see and feel the veggies. We transfer it into a bowl. There we go. And do not wash yet your food processor because we will need it again in a minute. Over medium heat, some good quality olive oil. I would say like 3 tablespoons. Our soffritto goes in along with a nice pinch of salt. And this is my pan that I'm using. You can totally use a pot. Anyway, I'm gonna put all my affiliate links at the end of the description, okay guys? Now we let our soffritto cook, but be careful because if you burn the soffritto, you're gonna ruin your whole ragu. And yes, I called it ragu. I didn't call it bolognese. You know why? Bolognese, it's a kind of ragu, but from Bologna, which is a city in Italy, and that's traditional from that city. The other one, they're not called bolognese, but they're just called ragu, because the bolognese, it's a ragu bolognese, which is made in Bologna. If you make it with different ingredients, it's not bolognese, it's just a ragu. That's why I'm making a ragu. Mine, it's not a bolognese, and not even yours. While our soffritto is cooking, 250 grams of unsmoked pancetta. I'm gonna blitz it because I don't wanna fill the pancetta in my ragu. I want it to be all blended together. There you have it, and set it aside. After 5-7 minutes, your soffritto should smell sweeter, which means that it's ready. We can add our meat, 1.5 kilos or 3.3 pounds of beef and pork mince together. There we go. Oops. Our pancetta. And if you have it, you can add an Italian sausage, but I run out. And I definitely need a bigger pot. Okay, much better. Now we need to cook all the meat. While the meat is cooking, open 2 cans of peeled tomatoes. Use peeled tomatoes. They are better quality than passata. Rinse the tins and crush your tomatoes by hand, like this, like a real Italian. When your meat is cooked, so you cannot see any more pink spot, it's ready. So we can go in with a nice glass of red wine, a dry red wine. I would use Merlot, but I only have Pinot Noir, so I'm gonna use Pinot Noir. Now we need to let the alcohol evaporate, so it's gonna take like 5 minutes, but you're gonna be able to smell it. Now it's very alcoholic. Some salt, some black pepper, 2 rosemary sprigs, and some sage. Our tomatoes that we crushed earlier. Triple tomato concentrate, half of it. There we go. Give everything a good mix. Cover it and let it cook for at least 2 hours, but 3 or 4 hours will be better over low heat. Be patient and stir it every now and then, okay? Don't leave it alone. While our ragu is cooking and our pasta is resting, we have all the time to make our bechamel. So my bechamel is super easy because you need 10 parts of milk, 1 part of flour, and 1 part of butter. But that is only if you use the metric system, which I do. So it's 1 liter, 0.5 of whole milk. I'm gonna warm it up because it's gonna make it much quicker once our roux is ready to make our bechamel, but you can use cold milk, it doesn't matter. And we melt in another pot 150 grams of unsalted butter. And I'm gonna grate some nutmeg in the milk that is warming up, as much as you want. I'm gonna put quite a bit because I love nutmeg. And then this is the only spice I'm gonna put in my bechamel because I want it kind of plain, because we want to celebrate all the flavors, so even the ragu and the pasta. So don't overpower your bechamel with flavors like cheese and too much nutmeg. I'm gonna put a bit, quite a bit, but not too much. That's the exact amount you need, not too much. In my milk, I'm gonna also put some salt and some black pepper. When the butter is almost all melted, flour in. This is all-purpose or plain flour. It's 150 grams of flour. If you want a thinner bechamel, you can put a bit less, like 130 grams. We need to cook our roux for around 5-7 minutes, but you're gonna see the change in color and texture, and it's gonna start smelling nutty. You're gonna be able to tell when it's ready, but I'm gonna show you anyway. Okay, I'm gonna just show you. Can you see that the texture is changing? It looks bubbly, but we are not yet ready. I can smell the nuttiness now. It smells like cookies, literally. So it's ready, and you're gonna be able to tell when it's ready. No worries. Everything that I'm making, it's much easier than you think. Time consuming, yes, but it's not hard. Now my milks go in and keep stirring constantly. Keep stirring it constantly, otherwise it's gonna stick and burn. And we don't want that because we are making a lot of effort in this lasagna. We don't want to ruin the bechamel. In like 5 minutes, it should be ready. It's gonna be quick because we warmed up the milk before because we are very smart. And it should have this consistency because it's gonna keep thickening up while it cools down. Sorry, I need another snack. Perfect. Now we can set our bechamel aside and we can cover it with some cling film so it doesn't become crusty on top because that's not nice. So our ragu is cooking, bechamel done, pasta dough resting. Now you think that you can relax. No. We need to clean all that mess that we left behind. We start flattening down a bit our dough with our hands. There we go. A bit of flour on each side. And we start rolling it down. Don't forget to always rotate the dough so it's gonna be even. So this is another workout, guys, yes, but you can totally use a pasta machine. I just enjoy all the process doing it by hand. You just feel free to do whatever fits you better. So now I'm gonna show you properly. So you see, I rotate the dough. I just pass my roll pin on it like 2 or 3 times like this, then you roll it again. It's easier than you think, guys, really. There we go. And you keep doing like this until it's nice and thin. Also, don't forget to flip your pasta sheet every now and then, and you keep rolling it. We want it nice, thin, and even. It's a labor of love, guys. Then at some point when your pasta sheet is a bit thinner, it's not ready yet, of course, but what to do is to roll the pasta sheet on your rolling pin like this, and this is gonna help you to even down the pasta sheet, okay? So you're not gonna have some parts where it's thicker, some parts where it's thinner, so it's got the all same texture all around. And you keep doing like this. Then what you can do to help yourself, a quarter of the pasta sheet out of the board, and you do like that. So you can stretch it a bit easily. Then the other side. And see how I keep rotating it and flipping it so it all become even. There we go. Again. And we are getting there. We are getting there, guys. Okay, I think we are good, guys. Let's have a look. So always check your pasta sheet. You can see if it's even or not if you put it against the light. And she's looking very good. Anyway, let me know if you want a more detailed video on just how to make the dough and the pasta sheet. I could totally do that, just let me know in the comments. And now we need to cover it and let the pasta sheet dry a bit. Around 20-30 minutes is gonna be enough. And we are ready. Okay, I'm gonna start cutting my pasta sheets. I wanna see like this. The size of your pasta sheets don't really matter, guys. So you do you. There we go. I'm gonna show you anyway when I'm done. Of course, mine are all different sizes, but again, it doesn't matter. Now, hot boiling water, salted, and cold water, salted as well. We're gonna start cooking our lasagna sheets, like few at the times, not too many. I would say like 3 or 4, and keep moving them so they don't stick together. And you just cook them for like no longer than a minute. After that time, we transfer them in cold salted water so they stop cooking like this, and keep going on until you cook all of them. And here we go, we are done. And we are ready to assemble. I've got here my ragu, my bechamel, and my pasta. Put a cloth over here. I'm gonna show you why in a second. So we start off putting some ragu at the bottom like this. There we go. And also a bit of bechamel like so. Okay, then my pasta sheets, I'm gonna dry them off a bit here. Not too much. If they're still a bit wet, it doesn't really matter. There we go. And I do one first layer. So I'm gonna choose maybe a smaller piece, and then you can break them as well. Let me show you what I mean. You can break it a bit like this. There is no problem. Even if they overlay a bit, not a problem, guys. There we go. And this is our first layer of pasta. What I'm gonna do is layer of ragu like this. I'm gonna just show you step by step how I do it, guys. There we go, nice and covered. And then my bechamel. I love bechamel, guys. I don't know you. Bit more bechamel, yes. Anyway, you can do it however you want, guys. So honestly, there we go. And then I'm gonna put some Parmigiano Reggiano. I'm gonna do all the layers like this, and then I'm gonna show you how I do my last layer because that's a bit different. Anyway, Parmigiano as much as you want. There is not a limit. Just follow your heart. So this is my last layer. I've done 5 pasta layers. Do at least 5, not less. So with the last layer, what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna stain it with some sauce. Barely stain it, really. Like so. Also with the tiniest amount of bechamel. Now we are gonna cover it with Parmigiano. But why did I just stain the last layer? Because I want to cover it in Parmigiano so it's gonna become very crispy and delicious. That's the reason. And here we have it. It's a bit messy, but it's gonna be delicious. So as you can see, I've got leftovers. This one is for 4 big portions or 6 medium-sized portions, okay? You can totally make more with the ingredients that I gave you, but if you wanna just make this, instead of doing 1.5 liter of milk for the bechamel, reduce the dose down to 1 liter, and you can do just half of the ragu, okay? Do the pasta the same because there is not much left over, okay guys? In the oven, 160 degrees fan or 180 degrees static for around 20 minutes or at least until bubbly and golden on top. There we have it, super crispy on top. And you know what's the worst part? That we need to let it rest for 20 minutes. Yes, I know. Mmm. Buon appetito, besties.